announced Angoro Crater today, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, you know, what I would think about these cards. I really like the idea of the 1 mana quest, but what's skeptical about it, because the power of the card as the game moves on is definitely, you know, is huge. I mean, you know, eventually you're going to get a 5 mana 8/8, which is already insane. But what makes it even crazier is, you know, it sets your hero's health to 40, and I guess I'm going to assume that that also heals you to 40 at the same time. So it's an extremely powerful card, like, you know, absolutely next level on the power scale. But the kind of weird thing is, guess we'll just do this. The kind of weird thing is, like, you have to spend a card in your opening hand essentially to get that. You're going to get a 1 mana card that does nothing. Now, for priests in particular, it's not like they have too many great 1 mana cards. I mean, you could certainly put down a priestess, but I mean, you know, that might make the difference if you're against an aggro matchup. So it'd be interesting to see what other classes' quests are and how they synergize with the classes themselves. Because if you have any of these 1 mana cards that are easy to complete, I mean, I assume they're all going to be hard, and you'll get a reward equivalent to the power level of, you know, the difficulty level. But yeah, it's really going to nice, really good. I probably should have killed the 1/1. We're really going to have to see and make sure that all the rewards are actually equivalent. Because if there's one that's easier to complete than another, like, I don't know, play charge minions because it's good for a face deck, and then all of a sudden people can just play a bunch of charge minions and just go face all the time, and the reward for that is like an even better charge minion or something, or some kind of direct damage. I mean, you know, that might be a little imbalanced and make any other class's 1 mana options just completely useless. So we really have to kind of guard that closely. Ooh, Yogg, nice. Just played the behemoth here. But I do like the concept, and I'm eager to see what some additional quests are. Now, another another new mechanic that came out is the adapt mechanic. Oh man, the adapt mechanic, I don't know what I want to think of that. It's cool. I like that you can take a base vanilla minion and give it a plethora of different stats. It kind of makes me think of, you know, Kazakus potions and such. You know, you get a lot of different options that you can upgrade it with. And they already announced a bunch of those options, well 6 anyway. But we do know that there's going to be more. And that's good. That's definitely good that we know there's going to be more. Let me see, actually, wait a minute. So if I do this, no, I should save that for later. So I think we're just going, actually, we don't even really have a good play this turn. We could play Fandral, but I want to get him in combination with Kun most likely. So I think we'll just play it safe and trade. We don't really need to do much this turn. He doesn't have much on the board. It seems like his hand's a little clogged with his Jade build. But anyway, yeah, so with the adapt factor, you know, if you look at the 6 that they presented, they're pretty basic effects. I mean, you've got Wind Fury, Taunt, 3 attack, Divine Shield, untargetable by minions and by spells and hero power. That's might be the best one. Death Rattle, summon 2 1/1 plants. So that's where we're getting into interesting, diverse strategies. And depending what other kind of strategies come along with other adapt effects, we might see some really cool things, like maybe one does damage or something like that. But if we just look at the one of the base values and the initial example card they provided, we have, you know, Verdant Longneck, and he's a 5/4 beast for the druids, and he's 5 mana. And if you give him taunt, I mean, that's no better than what the Tall Strider card plus taunt, or you know, a Heckler is a 5/4 taunt. And he's only 4 mana. So, you know, we're definitely looking at some situations where cards aren't as good as you would think. Like, would I pay 5 mana for a 5/4 taunt? You know, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Time waits for no one. For the wild.
I messed that up. I should have attacked into that. Whatever. I have a crazy board down. We'll see how he deals with this. I mean, I like the idea though. You know, we might even come to see some minions that aren't just vanilla, or they've got like adept ×2. I think that could be a cool possibility. You get to pick 2 cards, like it comes up twice. If Bran was still around, then adept would even be more insane. But he's going to be gone, of course, and that's probably a good thing, really. It's really for the best, because with adept decks, you'd just be forced to run Bran every time. So I'm kind of glad to see him rotated out. But I like the concept of adept. I'm really eager to see what other choice options are, because as it stands, I'm not overly impressed. I mean, I'd be pretty disappointed, I suppose, if I just got, you know, like a Taunt, Wind Fury, and maybe the Death Rattle summon 2 1/1s for that Druid card. That'd be a pretty disappointing lineup. So I'd like to see some others, maybe that deal direct damage, or even give you the ability to silence. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, as far as just some other new cards they announced, in terms of getting to see what they are thinking of, Volcano. Oh man. No, I mean, what can you say about Volcano? Volcano is a 5 mana kill every little guy on the board card that Shaman's got, with only an Overload 2. I mean, you can play a control Shaman deck very easily now. 15 damage is a lot. Definitely solid for anti-aggro. Split across all minions, yes, but still really solid. Let's see here. Let's trade this here.
These talents will be your end.
I'll attack into this if it's okay. And this one we'll send here. And we'll send this here. No, we'll save that in case we get one of our auctioneers. But yeah, I mean, do shamans really need another super cheap removal? I don't know. I mean, you know, this is pretty crazy AoE, and I get that it hits your minions too. There are... Oh, that's it? That's all he's playing? Okay, there we go. You know, I get that, you know, AoE is nice, and hitting your own minions is a downside, but this seems like a really powerful card. I mean, 7 mana, I guess, effectively, you know, I don't even count the overload. It's often very negligible, sometimes even beneficial, but yeah, 5 mana basically to clear all your opponent's stuff doesn't seem like too hefty of a price, you know. I would definitely say that, you know, we need something a little bit scarier going on. Let's just do this. I want to cycle a little bit here. Okay, good. Yeah, we need more cycle right now. It's pretty bad, actually. We could just play the Yogg at the end. Oh, more cycle. Keep it coming. I guess that's okay. What do we got? Oh, a swipe. That is kind of what I was hoping to find. Nice. Excellent. And we'll trade that in. Keep the Avion. That worked out perfectly. Nice. So, you know, Volcano seems like a really powerful card for Shaman, and it's kind of like, do they really need it, you know? I don't know. Now, the Mage Legendary. Good game. We'll just do it. Might come in handy. Anyway, yeah. See, the last thing I was talking about, with the Shaman card too. You know, one last thing is, like, yes, Shamans are losing elemental destruction, of course, but they still have Maelstrom Portal, you know, they still have Lightning Storm, you know, they still have plenty of AoE at hand that's perfectly viable. So you just have to ask, do they really need, you know, more big AoE that's like board clearing value AoE? You know, and the same thing with that Druid card that was created with the Adept. I mean, another comparison I thought of too is like a Spectral Knight, right? Or Skeletal Knight, yeah, Spectral Knight, I guess. You know, he's a 5 mana, same as the Druid card, 5 mana, but he's a 4/6, and arguably, you know, 4/6 is a better stat line than 5/4. I mean, if you just think about it, you know, the 4/6 can trade into the 5/4. That's better right off the bat. So, you know, there's definitely some things there that I question. Now, something else that's pretty interesting is the mage legendary, actually. And so it's cool in this preview that they showed a mage legendary, and then they also showed the priest quest, which eventually, you know, essentially is a legendary as well. And that's kind of cool. So I'm guessing that each class is going to get 2 legendaries again this time around. So that's exciting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think here what I want to do, let's see, based on how this is going, do I want to draw? I think I want to draw cards, because I can be 6 mana next turn, and I have a great play anyway. I don't think I need to ramp like that. Nice, not a bad draw. So it is cool that they showed 2 different legendaries in that perspective. Now the mage legendary, so it starts off as a 2 mana 2/2, and then it returns to your hand when it dies. Death Rattle becomes a 6 mana 6/6, dies, returns to your hand, and you get a 10 mana 10/10. Now, would you really want to play a 10 mana 10/10? Obviously, that is definitely something that, you know, most people might not want to do. Like 10 mana 10/10 isn't that great. However, there we go. However, what's really significant here is that a 2 mana 2/2 isn't that bad. A 2 mana 2/2, you know, you can think of something like a Knife Juggler. It's basically a strong a 2 mana minion with a strong effect that's going to, you know, play out. So a 2 mana 2/2 is not too bad. It can get cleared easily, but there's the threat 1, it's going to come back, and the other threat that, you know, it can actually trade into something. Now a 6 mana 6/6, again, not too bad on the stat lines, to be honest. You know, if you have a 6 mana card that has a good effect, a good Death Rattle effect, say Sylvanas or something, you know, you got a 6 mana 5/5 right there. And this is what Ben Brode was talking about in the past, saying how we were going to get some good, strong Death Rattle effects, and we didn't want to have Sylvanas in play anymore, just so that, let's see, I think to clean this up, we'll just play the Ancient of War. We're going to get some strong Death Rattle effects, and we didn't want to have Sylvanas in play anymore in Standard, so that we could actually, you know, build decks with those and not have too many design, you know, conflict and choices. So, you know, I understand the reasoning there. I mean, if you have a N'Zoth deck, you're obviously going to put Pyros in it, and if you've got Sylvanas on hand, well, then you're going to put that too, and maybe you're bringing back a little bit too much value. But what is really cool about a N'Zoth deck and this guy is that, okay, wish I had spell power though. What is really cool about a N'Zoth deck and this guy is that you're actually bringing back 2 minions. You're bringing back a 2/2 and a 6/6. You wouldn't just bring him back once, because he technically has multiple Death Rattles, assuming you can play them both. And then what's even crazier is from that 2/2, you're going to get another 6/6, and from the 6/6, you're going to get another 10/10. So it's very cyclical in a sense. You know, you're really double dipping in this card if you bring it back with N'Zoth down the road. So in that sense, it's a really cool, unique, and interesting legendary card. And I think the final note is just the fact that, yeah, let's do, yeah, we can do this. Nice, not bad. Oh, do we want to? Let's see. Yeah, I guess this is okay. We do this. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. But yeah, it is really cool, and the most powerful thing about this card, of course, is that it's actually initially a low mana legendary. So in that sense, it's good for your opening hand. It's good for a Reno style deck because it doesn't deplete a card slot in your hand when you play it. You're basically always getting that card slot replenished, so you'll have something to play down the road. So in that sense, it is a really cool legendary, and I don't think, you know, other classes are going to get something like this, but I hope that other classes get a lot these elemental legendaries. I hope they're not only given to like mage and shaman. This elemental theme is really cool. I like that they turned old legendaries into elemental style things. It's definitely pretty interesting. So I think here our main play, it might be, let me see. I wish I had something for mana. So it could be Aviana and then into Kun. So let's see. I can trade. Not too many good trades right now for me, to be honest.
What to do?
I could do Kun refresh mana Aviana. I don't think that's going to be any good, to be honest, either.
Time waits for no one.
I think our best bet, just to help stabilize the board, because I don't want to play Yogg yet, is just to do this. And we will... Let's see, I guess I can get his 2 highest threats off the board. I know it takes away 2 of my minions, but it should be okay. So he's going to trade his 5/5 in here, or he could do 5/5 plus weapon into Kun, but he's going to get rid of the Aviana, I think. It is really cool. So the elemental archetype, I'm really glad they added that tag, because it can bring relevancy to some of the older minions that have been forgotten, and who knows, maybe even bring relevance to the Rager archetype. It is pretty cool in that sense. I'd like to see what kind of buffs and you know, synergistic cards they have in store for the elemental, you know, cards. Because I think me as well as many others are definitely excited to play out of that pool of cards. You know, if nothing else, they all look very cool when they're golden. So I think here we can. Let's see, if I do this and this, okay, so I could do Fandral, and this gives me, it makes it cost 3, so that's 7, and I can combine this, it gives me 4 attack, which isn't quite enough, because I do need to hero power, so I think what I'm most likely going to do is Fandral, do this. Yeah, I think that's our play. So Fandral, Feral Rage. Get both. Then Jade Idol, Hero Power. Kill the 5/5. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, so I mean, that's my thoughts on the few cards they released for Angora Creator. It was a pretty cool release video. I liked it. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this this set. Really, you know, anything with new mechanics is definitely exciting. And as I say that,